Okay, welcome to this evening's Fumbbl replays. This is going to be a series of 4 to take me from 96 Fumbbl videos up to 100 videos. And I thought a good place to start would be with the final of the recent double Waterbowl elimination. So this is an interesting new format for Fumbbl, whereby you played games in a sort of knockout format, basically, until you lost 2 games. So it meant the idea was that it would cut down on the sort of player fatigue from playing a few games and then not wanting to play anymore because you'd lost and so you're out of the running. I think it had a couple of challenges in terms of keeping people going, and once sort of a half of the draw became slightly behind or whatever, but it went to an exciting final anyway between PeteW and Thot. So we've got Dark Elves against Undead. The idea here is that both teams are at 1 loss each, and so this is the final, in that whoever loses this would have lost 2 games. So let's see how we go. So this is Dark Fantastic. There's actually an interesting Dark Elf team who've played 44 online games in Fumbbl. So I think he just changes the skill set every time that the NAF tournament rule set changes, which is a pretty nice way of doing it. So people have played quite a lot of games and they've got lots of skills. The number of star player points they've got doesn't affect the number of skills they've got, but it's still nice to have the sort of history there. So we've got 3 dodge, 1 guard on the blitzers. I haven't seen guard on a blitzer very much at all, but obviously he's doing well because he's in the final. But I suppose Dark Elves don't get doubles very often, but in this format, which is the Waterbowl format, so you can have 5 singles and a double, so he spent the double on guard. He's got an assassin again, which is not standard, but all good fun. And he's got wrestle and block on the witches. And then over here we've got a guard and block on the mummies, fairly standard. Guard, a guard, and block on the ghoul, and block on the other ghoul. So much more standard undead build, but probably a less standard dark elf build, but obviously a successful one. And PeteW is obviously a great player, so no harm there. So Thot lost the toss, and Pete chose to kick, which is fairly standard, I think, when you win the toss and you're a decent player. Gives you control over the game, basically. So you can, if he scores quickly, then you can score back and so on. But obviously, the guy who's playing Thot is a decent player as well, because they're both in the final. So he is. That's interesting. So he's putting the guard on there next to the zombie, even though was this a blitz action? I completely missed the fact that it was a blitz action. Alright, so that's commentary win. So he's got Blodger under the ball, which is a fantastic start, obviously. And he's failed to POW because there's no tackle on the team, so all he could do is make it as difficult as possible for the blitzer to get out. So obviously what he was doing was tagging. Ideally, I was surprised that he tagged with a non-blodge player, but obviously what he was doing there was just tagging with anyone that was available to stop pressure going on the ball, which is obviously a good idea. So he's knocked the player out to loosen the cage so that the ball carrier can just dodge out later, and he's just going to dodge out and chill out back here, or in fact even further back. So absolutely in no hurry at all to score, so he's just going to basically chill out with the ball. So basically if it goes in at 0-0, then depending on casualties and so on, it's fairly likely that Pete's going to win. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of turn he chooses to score in. And look, he's just running away, which is fantastic. So just getting the ball right into his own half, so forcing the undead player to come forward, running away even further. So running away and chickening out. But yeah, no damage at all to the Dark Elves. There's 1 out, but just KO'd. But immediately back as well, so now moving up to the side. This is just absolutely fantastic sort of pitch control, basically. So really interesting that he got the ball on the blitz, but then just ran backwards with it until he could be absolutely sure of producing a decent sort of cage up there. And he's only 8 squares away here, so he can dodge out and go for it to score if he wanted to, or in fact just hand off. So 1-0 and receiving, very strong position, obviously. I'm just going for the foul, which is a decent foul. Got a casualty from that, so 2 badly hurt, so only 9 players there. And the ball was on the line, so it could have been. It was a 3-out pickup, but he made it. That was the only really hairy bit there, I think. So bearing that in mind, he's now got the ball, and this may not have been the most interesting match to choose. It was chosen because it was a final. I tend not to look at the result sort of beforehand because it makes it more interesting. But with hindsight, maybe not. But it did show absolutely brilliant tactical play there, and you can see that obviously Dark Elves are up there. Very little damage there. Got a blodger on the ball. Very unlikely to get the ball off him unless something crazy happens. He probably can score on the next turn as well. Basically, once you're 1-0 up and you can go 2-0 up, it's sensible to do so. And there we go. So that's the touchdown there. Let's see if anything interesting happens on the next one. So he has to try and score quickly, otherwise, he's failed to pick up. Obviously, has to try and score quickly to have any chance of winning, but failed to pick up again. So it was just not Thot's day really at all. Got the power there, so the ball is loose, and it may even be a 3-0. Oh, failed to pick up again. That was a 4-up pickup. But yeah, a touchdown. So congratulations to Pete on the win there. Do check out the online NAF tournaments. There's one just about to start, which is the next Tillian Team Cup. I'm participating in that one as part of Team Exiles for the first time, and hopefully that will be good fun. I'll definitely do some recaps of those as we go through.